Welcome back to Keys to Crypto, one and only Krypto Playboy. In this episode, we're covering with you tokenomics. This is something you should really understand. Please sit down, listen to my soothing voice, and read along to the PDF you've been given there and understand this, because if you're investing in an early stage project, you need to understand tokenomics. If you're investing in projects already out there, you should also understand tokenomics behind it, because this can tell you if it's viable or not. So understand tokenomics. This will change the way you do crypto. What exactly is tokenomics? We'll take the word token and economics, combine them, you got tokenomics. This is the study of economics of a crypto token, and this will cover everything to do with it. Why is this important? Well, for the investor's point of view, you need to understand what the token is going to do and how to become self-sustaining. You can see this from reading tokenomics. Okay, this will cover everything you need to know about it, and you understand the whole ecosystem and what they are building there. If it's rubbish, well, guess what? It's going to be a rubbish project. You have to understand what it is. Now, from a team's point of view, teams can review tokenomics and say, is this a good model I'm working with? Can I adapt this? Can I make it better? And they can review these things, make even better tokenomic models what they're building. Now, one key thing I'd say you must start to do before you do anything is read the white paper. Most people know this. Every project will have a white paper on there. When you hop on an exchange, it's not like, here's the white paper, please read before investing. You gotta go deep dive and find this yourself. So usually you can put on the website, just a quick Google search, type in that you're looking for Ethereum's white paper, Ethereum white paper, and you will find it. Read the whole thing. It's a lot of pages to read any project. But take that hour out, take a couple hours out, and understand what you're reading in there, because you will learn so much more about it. You understand the ideas behind it and what they're building and how they're going to build it. Read the white paper. And if you're time conscious or you don't like reading like I do, read the white paper. I hate reading and I still read these white papers. So please read it. You should next understand the layer project you're going into. It's a layer 1 project. These are base layer projects. Think Ethereum, think Bitcoin. That's the layer 1. Layer 2 projects are built on top of the existing layer 1 infrastructure, and this helps the transactions speed. It takes a bit of the load off it. So take, for example, Polygon. That's a layer 2 from layer 1 Ethereum. It helps the load of it. It builds the network, makes it a bit quicker for it, takes the load off of layer 2. Now, layer 3, this is the application layer. All the dApps are built on this. You think of dApps, think of Uniswap, PancakeSwap, things that help you actually use the blockchain for the better. And these are built underneath as a layer 3. There's 2 types of tokens. There are security tokens, and these security tokens are digital contracts that define a fractional ownership of an asset. Think of these like a stock. You actually own part of it. And these are really, really heavily regulated, and you probably will not see many of these around as often as you will compared to a utility token. Utility tokens probably make up like 99% of the ones you'll be looking at or looking to invest in these early stage projects. So utility tokens, you don't own part of the company, but you have some rights in them. You might have voting rights, you might have a utility of the token like an exchange, you get benefits or discounts for using their token. There's a lot to do with it. There's even distribution benefits with it. There's so much you can do with a utility token. That's why they're so popular out there. Okay? So understand the token that you're purchasing into. And I think 99% of the time, guys, you're going to have this one here, a utility token. Distribution is another key thing you should really understand. There is 2 types of distribution. So one is pre-mine, and this is when a certain number of coins are created before it's launched to the public. Most of the projects you'll be looking at, I'd say 95% of them, will be pre-mine. So the early stage investors, they buy into it. When released, they get a percentage of tokens. The team get a percentage of tokens. Public investors get a percentage of tokens. And these are mined before the launch. They're sitting there ready to go. Launches, well, here's your tokens. That's called a pre-mine. And a fair launch, think of it like a Bitcoin. This is a fair launch. It's on a crypto network that is earned, owned, and governed by the community from the start. So there was no coins handed out to anyone. There wasn't a developer holding millions and millions of them himself. Mine away, you start earning it. The community earns it together. It's a fair launch. That's an easy name of putting it. It's fair for everyone. There's no one getting early benefits from it, or someone can do a shifty on you and say, yeah, we're going to launch all these coins. And they take them all for themselves and take your money and run away. But things getting more regulated and a bit more safer in crypto. Pre-mine is becoming a big thing to go to on everything. More safety, it's going to be better for everyone to get involved. So I say, listen, there's scams happening with that. Always keep an open mind and do your research on these things, because scams can still happen out there. Allocation. This is something you really need to read and study on any project, because allocation, sometimes you can see a project and it's going to be a big pump and dump. from reading just the allocation alone. You can skip all the white paper and everything and look at the allocation and go, do not buy this, run away from it. So this is what the allocation will look like. You'll see there's like kind of graphs, pie graph, if you want to call it. It'll break up into community, team, public allocation, seed and private investors. But only a quick rundown what you should really be looking at. So typically on any project, you'll see between say 5 to 20% of the allocation for teams. If it's any more than this, please be very careful. I've seen some projects with 40% allocation for the team. In my eyes, that's a warning bell to say, get out of here. The team owns 40% of this project itself. Okay, they're raising funds for this, and they take 40% of the tokens for it. Warning bells. 5 to 20% is fair. 5 to 10, ideal. 20% still realistic. Any higher than that, please be careful. You should also look for liquidity. So when projects provide liquidity, it means when it gets trading, they'll provide liquidity through an automated market maker. This is really good because a lot of these big projects not as well traded, so these AMMs help them keep the price stable. There's a rule of thumb with this, it should be about half the supply of the sales in liquidity. So say there's 20% to public, private investors, seed round investors, you should see 10% for liquidity in there. That is really important because some projects skip this altogether. You see when they kind of launch, they just crash. Projects that have a good liquidity on it, they'll bring the price up, it'll hold steady through there. Dip and play through there, but the price holds quite well. Now, public allocation is like a two-edged sword on this. If it's too big, 99% of the public gets their coins and starts dumping them. If it's too small, there's enough support for the project. So look between 1 to 5% in allocation to the public. Seed and private investors, these guys are the ones taking the biggest risk. So yep, they'll get a better price on it, but they're going to have longer lockups. And to be honest, the project can go bust before it's even been launched. So these guys are usually given 10 to 30% of a project allocation, but they're the ones fronting up the money first to fund the project, get it building, get it going. The biggest risk, so they also do deserve the biggest reward. Advisors also make up these allocation lists and check them out. If it's a dodgy project and it has like 10 to 20% as advisor roles, be very, very careful because sometimes the team can just put advisors as part of the team in there. Be careful of that. But if you see a good project, 1 to 10% is very, very fair on that. Now, marketing, these projects need to get out in there. They need to pay for listings. They need to pay for exchanges. They need to pay for a lot of things on there. So you can look for 10 to 20% on that's very fair. Again, if you start to see something like 30, 40%, be careful because the team can be hiding that as a team fee on there. They put it down as marketing, but really they're taking it for themselves. The 10 to 20% is very fair. And you'll also see a little allocation in there for community. This doesn't mean they're just giving it to you and say, here, community free. They're giving airdrops away. They're doing support packages. They're doing things like that for the community in the future. So make sure, as a community on there, you want to support the community, meaning they care about the people for their project. Investing is another thing you need to really keep your eyes open to because this is one of those ones, if it's bad, it's going to break the project. If it's a good schedule, you're onto a winner. This is a vesting schedule. So typically, you should see between 12 to 48 months for vesting. If a project has, like, say, 6 months or 2 months vesting schedule, I've seen something like that, run away from it because that's the team tokens, advisor tokens, everyone's tokens at once. And within 6 months, you have all these tokens dumped onto the market. Run away from it. That's very, 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 very big red flag. Get out of it. Team advisor tokens, you should always keep an eye on them that they have the longest lockup because they're the ones supporting the project, building the project, being behind it. You want them to be committed to this life of it. So the longer the lockup is, the better it is. If you see a short lockup for them, like 6 months, everyone else is 12 months, 24 months, don't touch it, get out of it. That team just wants to grab those tokens and run away and leave you guys high and dry. And also, we notice this on TGE, which is the initial release, 5 to 15% is a good amount to be released from the market. If you're getting TGE of like 40%, 50%, not a good sign because what can happen is price comes out, everyone dumps. Guaranteed the public investment will dump on it. Community VCs, a lot of them want to dump as well. So be careful of that. That's why TGE, 5 to 15% is very fair. Back in the early days of this, 2017, IDOs was the big thing. There was 100% vesting straight away. TGE, here's your coins, all 100%. What used to happen was, you used to rock it up, boom, dump. Coins would disappear overnight. Like projects would be dead within minutes. So TGE is a massive thing that saves projects, but can also break them if it's too high. So please be careful of that. And always read through this. It's really easy to understand, guys. Just match the color to the vesting schedule on there. Okay. Token supply. Well, there's a circulating supply, and this is the number of tokens that have been issued so far and are currently in circulation. Total token supply, this one here, is the total number of tokens that exist at present, excluding any that might have been burnt. And max supply. This is the total number of tokens that can ever be generated. This is the one you really need to keep an eye on, because there's some projects come out and you'll see them. 5% of tokens being released, and you'll see they're like 1 billion tokens and now $10 a coin. But there's only 5% of them released. So it's understandable it's going to hold that price. When it hits $5 a coin, there's $1 billion out of there. Will it be worth $5 billion? Is it going to be viable for that? We've got to look into these things. Like long term, will it hold that price? A lot of these scammy projects you'll see, they'll release a tiny amount of it, price will spike on it. When you see the full amount of token count, the max supply, it's almost worthless. So please be very careful on them. Market capitalization. You've probably heard this as the market cap. Now, this shows the value of the project at the current stage. What I really need you guys to do when you're looking at this is look at the fully diluted market cap. You take the price it is now, times it by the full amount of coins that will be available in the future. And that'll give you a realistic expectation of what this project can do. Will it withstand the price it's holding now? So please, please, please. That's a very, very important one here. Token model. Well, there is 2 token models you need to understand. Inflationary tokens, they don't have a max supply and they continue producing more and more tokens. Take, for example, Polkadot Network. It's an inflationary model. They're always producing more and more tokens, paying out to the validators on there. But that's not a bad thing either, because Polkadot's quite a successful network. With parachains and everything they're building on there, it's just growing bigger and bigger and better. And you're watching the future, it's going to keep growing. The inflationary token model is the opposite of inflationary. There's a max amount of tokens out there. Some projects also have a dual token, so they'll take bits of both of that. One might be used for a utility token, one might be the ecosystem token itself. Keep in mind you can have both on. That's where you got to understand the tokenomics and read those white papers. And one thing you should really keep an eye on is token burns. This can work ideally in your favor. Say a project has 100 million tokens for the team themselves. And say we're burning off half of these. That can be great for you holding them, because now your token is worth more as there's less of them. Supply and demand. Less tokens, worth more. Very, very simple one. Other things you really need to look out for. Their team. Research them. You have Google there at your fingertips. Search them up. Check out their LinkedIn. Have they built previous projects before? Have they pulled scams before? Find out everything they do. Find out their network. Find out who they've worked with in the past. What have they said on Twitter? Can you find their nudes online? Anything on there. Find anything about the team, because you understand so much more about them. This could be a relatively new team that knows nothing. You want to understand what they're doing. Find out about them. Even the advisors on that, as part of the team in my eyes. Find out the advisors. How they helped other projects in the past. Learn all about them. Now, social media is another big thing. Some projects have the worst social media to ever see, and the community doesn't get involved. What does that tell you? No one's going to like the project. No one's going to support it. If you see very active social media, and they've got a community following, meaning they're really supportive of the community. They need the community. They want that community activity. Keep it on socials. Very active projects I like a lot, because it tells me they are there for the long term, especially with their community, which is all about crypto, is community. Developer activity, maybe something you don't research as much, but if you can, hop on there, check if they're actually building anything there. GitHub's a great place to go, because it's public on there. You can view everything. You can check it if they're building on there. Especially if you're that way gifted, understand what they are building. VC investors are one thing you really need to keep an eye on, because there may be some no-name investors in it. That could be a sign that big guys were interested because the project was crap. You could see some of the best names on the project. You see FTX on there, Binance on there, Coupon on them. And you go, hang on a second, these big guys are investing in it. Starts ticking over saying, if these big guys are investing in it, maybe I should be too. They can see the bigger picture of it. They know where the money is. They're the big players in the industry. Follow them. So VC investors are always a good one to check out, because you know who is investing in what. And these guys are investing very early. If you're buying a public sale, you're buying what's already launched on the market. These guys probably already bought half a year ago, some of them 2 years ago, really, really early stage project they've invested in. So they put their money up that long, they're prepared to lock it up because they believe in the project and they'll support the project as they can see the big in picture from it. So guys, understand tokenomics, because it's very, very important. Any questions, chuck me in the Discord. Don't forget, keys to crypto, change your life.